Darci's son. And my mom always made me happy. And one of the times that she really made me happy was when we were on the couch and watching The Simpsons. She would always fall asleep right in the middle of an episode.
Okay, I gotta tell you about the day. And Darci's calling me and she's saying, I don't know what's wrong with me. My stomach is getting fat and I can't get my pants done up. And I said, and she said, and my butt is getting bigger. And my boobs are hurting. And I said, how long has it been? How long has it been since you've had a period? Oh, I am not pregnant. I know I am not pregnant. I had one months ago. But I'm nursing. I know I'm safe. Chris would kill me. He would kill me. I am roaring at this point. I said, I think you should shut off dinner and go and get a pregnancy test. I am not pregnant.
I have a tumor growing. I'm sure of it.
There is no way I am pregnant. There's no way. And I said, shut off dinner, go down and get a pregnancy test, and call me right back. And she says, Chris will kill me. He will kill me. He will think that I did this on purpose. And so I didn't hear from her. That night. And the next morning I'm calling and saying, so what happened? She says, I can't tell anyone until I tell Chris.
It's a secret.
And it was Gibson. There was not a tumor. And she delivered that baby on her bed at home. I thought anybody who could do that could,
And that was 3 days before her birthday.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
Most of you know about the debacle that occurred in Grable a few years ago. Well, okay, I'm gonna start crying. I apologize. Miss Weydeveld was probably the most influential person on my life. I come from a bad home situation. I've always been interested in music, and she wanted me to play in the band. I said, I can't. My parents won't let me. You don't say to Miss Weydeveld that she can't do something. It took her probably 3 months. She talked to my parents, she talked to the principal, she talked to the school board, she talked to everybody that she could to get me out of that house and into band, And then I have to say, for all the people who aren't here, she was the one person who we could always go to. Everybody in the school would flock to Miss Weideveld's room. And in the last few months that she was there, that place was a party all the time, man. And she was the one person, that really actually cared about the kids in school. A lot of teachers are just there to teach and to earn a paycheck, but she really cared. And that's what I take of Miss Weydeveld with me. It's her love.
I'm Anna, Darci's daughter, and there's this really nice time I like to remember. When my mom went up to Alaska, it's kind of like this, only I'll never get to see her again. I'll never meet her in the airport and hug and kiss her. But it's sort of like this. I don't really get to see her, but I got to still talk to her on the phone. But the happiest time of when she was up in Alaska is when we meet with each other after 3 months of not being together. And it was just so happy. When my mom came back for the summer, we went to the airport and we waited for 10 minutes before my mom saw us, and she yelled to us and she ran down the escalator, and we all met her and hugged her and kissed her, and on our way home we asked her what she did in Alaska, and she said she just loves Alaska. And then, like, the only reason why she couldn't work in Alaska is because of this hard test she couldn't pass. Yeah, she didn't like it. She took it like 5 times, and she said, I just don't want to do that anymore.
Anna were in Head Start together, and she was a really good friend, and she was a friend of my children, and they just loved her to death. And her and I went for a walk one night, really late at night. It was just kind of random. I was walking down the street, and Chris and her were walking, and Chris went in the house and played his guitar, and she went walking off with me. And she was just in a mood, I guess, where she just felt like talking, and she told me how much she loved her husband and her kids that night, and that she knew she'd never find anybody like you. So I want to tell you that.
Another time that she really made me happy was when I got to go on road trips with her. Because the only time I usually get to go on a road trip was with my dad. And this last time, it wasn't a road trip, but my sister and my dad were somewhere, I don't remember where, and I got to spend the night with my mom, and she took me out to a gas station and bought me a slushie, some candy bars, and we watched The Simpsons, and she fell asleep.
Casper. She was like the field Martian, I forgot what it's called or something like that. And she was there to watch me and play. Just felt so good that she was there. And then I was done. I saw her and it felt good to be with her. And that was the last time I saw her.
Road trips, like when we lived in Grable, I used to go back and forth from Casper because when she had concerts like symphonies, I'd go with her, and Gibson and my dad would stay home, but I'd go with her for the 3 hours. My mom had bought these like little clip cameras, and I'd just take pictures of my stuffed animal and then of her waiting in line, and then just do it until the camera's gone. And then I'd take my other one out and do it again. Yeah, that was like my favorite trip.
I know, I can tell you.
And Jeremy and I went to San Blas, Mexico for our honeymoon. And Darci and Chris and the kids and Tim and Alfie and the kids, we all went together. And Chris and the kids went on their own because Darci was teaching, and Jeremy and I are teachers too, so we were on the same schedule. So she flew with us. And it was my first time really out of the country, so I was a little nervous, but I felt so much safer having Darci with. I really did, and just having all the family with her too. But her fearlessness and, I would like to say reckless fearlessness sometimes, and courage, helped me feel so much safer. That we had the best time, and I would never have chosen, to have a honeymoon with cousins and family, but it was the best time that we've ever had, and I will never forget that.